Welcome to my wild adventure. I'm Anna, and I'm in the midst of renovating this vintage Airstream into my future tiny home on wheels. Join me as I embark on this incredible journey, documenting every step of the way, from the initial demolition to the final finishing touches. I invite you to subscribe and become part of this incredible community. Together, we'll dive into the world of Airstream Renovation, sharing ideas, tips, and inspiration. For those who are simply stopping by, I appreciate your support, and I hope you enjoy a glimpse into my DIY adventure. Now that the trailer frame is done, there are several pieces of aluminum that have to be replaced and put back in before the subfloor goes on. If you notice on the original area, this simply covers over the wood over the door. Like, this piece is to protect the subfloor because the step down here is just open. So that's what this is for. And the reason I'm choosing to replace this piece with a significantly longer piece is because the steps come down here, so this is open. So water can get through here. The subfloor in this area and the area on this side are both still vulnerable to the elements, and I think that's why a lot of the routing starts. It fits over all of them, and then the subfloor underneath all of this area is protected from the elements. One of the other things we need to do to the wheel wells besides fix all the cracks is get all this butyl tape off, because that's where it sits on the subfloor, sits on top of this part of the wheel well, so we need to make sure we get all that butyl tape off so we can put fresh stuff in. I don't know who on the internet said it, but they said to use a heat gun to take it off, so we're gonna give that a whirl. It was time to move the trailer frame. I was trying to get it back nearer to the shell to be able to put it all back together a little bit easier. And as you can see, it wasn't going great. I didn't want to use the truck as the ground was pretty soft, so I decided to try to just pull it across the lawn, and it just got stuck. And everybody was laughing to the point where I was told to go get my brother's side-by-side and move the trailer that way. I noticed it was super muddy underneath the Airstream, and since I was going to still be going underneath the Airstream, under the trailer and doing things, I decided to clean it up real good before I had to crawl under it. This pitted and corroded to the point where it's completely unusable, but it still does have the holes, and there's holes here and there's holes in the piece of metal, so those all line up there-ish. If I can mark up these spots on here. At this point, the camera decided to have a mind of its own, and it just kind of turned away from what I was doing. Little explanation here. There are holes in the back of the trailer frame that align with the support piece that determines the length of the Airstream. And that way it lets me put all of the pieces in and make sure that they fit comfortably. And as you'll see, they don't quite fit comfortably at all, and I actually had to cut a bit of one of the pieces to make sure that they aligned. Next, I needed to cut the pieces of metal that I was replacing of the original that will connect the subfloor and the trailer frame and the shell all together. With all the pieces cut, I got to try to put on the shell, and let me tell you, I learned a lot. Shall we begin the dramatic retelling of reattaching the Airstream shell? I leveled it front to back. Great, perfect, I thought that was enough. It's not. Level side to side, all the way down, not just in a couple spots. Side to side, all the way down, and even diagonally a little bit. Make sure it's level 100%. I probably have a little too much faith that my foot isn't about to go through this. Check the perimeter as it's coming down. The aluminum ribs and the aluminum itself of the shell get stuck so much. They get stuck on each other, trying to slip over the edge. The ribs get stuck, and then all of that weight is sitting on there, and no matter how much you pull, no matter how much you think I have trained in the gym for this, you are not strong enough to pull it off. So up it goes, again. It's meant to be tight. When you took it off, I think everyone hears that pop off. A slightly terrifying noise as the shell finally squeezes off of the subfloor. So when you get it back on, it's not easy. One of the things I found that worked the best was having my scrap bits of aluminum tucked in between the shell and the subfloor, and allowing that extra bit of aluminum to help guide the shell back over the subfloor. And this is unfortunately where I have to leave you, because riveting this beautiful thing back together requires 2 people. So now I have to go recruit some assistants to be outside with me. Not just outside, but they'll probably be the one inside. Yeah, wish me luck.